Okay, so practicing the easy command. Now, as you're just getting your feet wet and you're starting to understand some handling skills, remember that practicing just the setup for things is just as important as moving through the entire command. So for instance, if you practice setting up for the easy repetitively, it's going to show your dog that you have control over where their body is, that they follow you and not you follow them, and it gives you a great time to practice implementing corrections and rewards without the hustle and bustle of moving within the command. So this is exactly how we would set up for the easy command. I'll show you a couple different ways to do it. For the easy, I always want my collar up high on the neck, and that's true for every command. In this case, I want my bolt snap to be on the left side of my dog's head because when I go to maneuver with the leash, I don't want the collar to be twisting around and interfering with the contact that I have. So, at any time, if you notice your collar slipping, just simply pull it up. And on these dogs with a whole lot of coat and a lot of skin on their neck, I literally take their skin and pull it down while I'm pulling the collar up. And Milk loves to slime me all the time. All right, so collar's up high on the neck and the bolt snap is on the side that I'm on. Now, I can either lure Milk with the leash to the side where I want him, or I could put Milk in a sit and I can move to him. Both are acceptable and both should be practiced. Sit. Good. So there's my sit. Now I'm going to move in next to him. Now, for the easy command, what we want to see is your hip is right in line with your dog's shoulders. I basically want his cheek right on my hip. Now my right hand is going to fall next to his face and he's going to lick me. Stop it. No, he's very silly. Come here. Sit. You have to have a sense of humor with a Malinois. So I'm going to put my hand on the outside of his head and it's just going to rest there. I don't hold his head. It just kind of creates a little pocket for your dog to feel where the position is. Now as for the leash, I'm going to just have enough slack that if I go to make a correction, I make contact with my dog. I don't want to be holding this, and if I need to communicate with him, I can't because my leash is flopping all around. So, I also don't want it so tight that I'm forcing him to stay in this position and I have my prong collar digging into his neck in a negative the whole time. Everything should be relaxed and neutral until a mistake is made, if there is one. So what I tend to do is I just fold my leash up neatly. I put both hands on either side of me. Easy. Okay. That's a good way to practice. So you've had a chance to practice your skill. Your dog is practicing waiting for you to organize yourself and be patient with you. And then the dog gets to release and get a reward, and that's always happy. So once again, I'm going to bring Milk to me this time. Come on. Sit. Good boy. Now, make sure my collar's up high on the neck. I have my leash where I want it. Easy. Okay. Good boy. All right, so practice that many times. You can't do it too much. And the better you get at setting it up, the more that's just going to flow for you so that when you do need the easy, when you're out on a walk or you're doing whatever, boom, you go right to it. Your muscle memory is there, your dog's muscle memory is right there, and you can get going as soon as you want. Now, in this next part, I'm going to say easy and then I'm going to move. But what I want you to notice when I'm practicing is that I don't go very far in the beginning, and as well, I'm moving at a pace that is slow, where I can notice every detail of what my dog is doing, and my dog can notice every detail about me. Now, when your dog has been here for board and train, they've been on my time or Sean's time or Mark's time for weeks and weeks and weeks, and now you need to transfer the dog to your time and the way you walk and the way you do things. The easiest way to do that is just to start slow. It'll take no time at all, literally one session, to get back up to the speed in which you move. So it'll look like this. Set my dog up. You can start in a sit or a stand, it doesn't matter, whatever you're practicing. Sit. Line everything up. I have my leash in my hands, relaxed. Easy. And as I'm moving, I give the okay and I release my dog. Now, you don't have to go 8 miles to practice the easy. If you can do 5 perfect steps, that's better than doing 500 steps where there were mistakes and then some was good and some was bad. Practice it perfectly and then grow it from there. So, as you get going, you take a couple steps, it feels comfortable, then you can start going further. Then you can start adding turns. Then you can start adding the halt, etc. But start slow. There's no harm in it. It's good for you. So here's the easy with some turns and some halts and things like that. Easy. Easy. Good. Easy. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Now, when we're making corrections for the easy, we're going to apply the same principle as we discussed in the sit stay and the down stay and the stand stay. What I'm trying to communicate with my dog is where he gets paid, where things are positive versus where things are negative. So I'm never making a correction in order to force my dog in the right position. What I'm saying to my dog is, when you were here, I paid you and I loved it and I rewarded you and it was awesome. And when you were here, or too far behind me, consequences happened there. So, just for the sake of demonstrating, where I want my dog to be, no, come here. Come. Come here. Come here. Good. Sit. Now, I want my dog to be at my hip at all times. If my dog's head starts to get here, that's not correct. It's important to keep the integrity of this command because this command gives you the most control when you're out on the walks. If the dog just slowly starts to trickle into disobedience, it unravels very, very quickly. It's up to you to be consistent and keep the integrity of everything that's been taught. It matters. So a lot of people say, well, I know you liked it like this, and I know that you wanted the dog tighter or closer, but I just kind of let it go. Okay, well, that's not the easy anymore, and your leadership has slacked, and now when you go into a situation where you need the easy, it's not going to work for you. The details are important. Dogs think in detail. So, I want his head right here. I don't want his head here. And I don't want his head back here. I want it exactly where I trained it. So, if Milk were to make a mistake and go too far forward, I would correct him here. So, hopefully he'll let me model this. Sit. Let's say he went a little too far forward like this. I would say no, put my leash together with my 2 hands, correct him here. Then I would set him up so everything stops. If we're walking and he's too far ahead, I stop, make my correction, and then I set him up again, easy. And what you'll see is the dog will avoid that spot where the correction happened. He will choose to come back here. If you're trying to pull your dog back, you're actually making here negative because all of the pressure is going to here. I want the pressure to be there and here to be relaxing. Now, the same exact thing is going to happen, sit, if he were to go too far out to the side. So let's say distance were made here. My correction would happen there to say this spot's bad, I need you to be closer to me. Likewise, if the dog were standing walking too far behind, I would make my correction there because I don't want him to be back there. Now you'll see that the dog will then avoid those positions and will stay here in the positive one. At any point, it's okay to slow things down, dial back, pause and make a correction, and then move forward again. Okay? So, good luck.